So here we toggle the theme, reset game, and boom. Like, I don't really actually know how to play, but hello guys, in today's video we're going to build 4 graphical user interface games. So from the last video we saw how to do the hello world with the graphical user interface, and that was quite not complicated to see the code still here. So I didn't come out from the folder because we just continue all the other tutorials in the same folder. So if you see here, if you can run it, and you see here we have our hello world in our graphical user interface, you understand? So yes, so today we'll be building 4 games. So partition it in parts because like I don't want the videos getting too long and choked up. So we'll have to build the tic tac toe game, the snake game, and the rock scissor, and I think any other game of your choice. So without wasting much time, I think we're going to start with the tic tac toe game. So we'll get here and create our file tic-tac.py, and we're going to import our dependencies. Here we'll import Tkinter as Tk. Then from Tkinter, we're going to import Ttk. Then we import random. We import time. And we import threading. Yes, we import threading. So these are the dependencies we're going to be using while building our graphical user interface game. So here now we're going to be setting our game setting and global states. So for the global states, we have to define player. We'll define our player X, and we have to assign it to an emoji, so the game should be look like something professional and other stuff. So here we have the fire emoji for that. Okay, the fire emoji for that. And here we will have to define our player O. Another emoji, so I will prefer still the fire emoji. No, let's use another emoji. So we're going to use the round circle emoji. We'll use the circle emoji. I think this blue circle should be okay. Yes, so we'll use the blue circle emoji. Let me see, which are we going to use? Blue circle. Oops. Like, man, this seems slow. Okay, here we have our emoji. We use our blue circle emoji here. And define our current player. Current player should be player X. And game active should be true, because of true. So this is a boolean actually. For I don't know if we've done I've not done any video on booleans in Python yet, but this is a boolean. And now I'm going to set up the scores. Set up the scores to be equals to, we have x here. My bad. We have x. What am I doing here? I have x here. We'll initialize it to 0. Like the video might be cutting at some point, you get. So I'm using how can I say, the software I'm using for recording, right? So it has a limit to 5 minutes for per recording. So like at some point you might feel like the video stopped and what I was saying isn't really what continues. So I just got to understand like the video had stopped and I had to retake from where I ended, not really like a continuation, you get. So I just had to restart the recording and other stuffs. So here we're going to set up our theme and we initialize that to dark. So I hope you know variable declaration and initialization stuff. So this is going to be our default theme for the moment. So while we start building our app, and now we're moving to setting up our main window, you understand? So the window you see like when you're in the app, and like when you're in the normal app, right? The window, like the window for the other app, you saw the hello world and the design the window and the other stuff. So we're going to define the window here. The window is going to be tk dot tk, something like that. So here is defining our window, and now we're setting our window title. And also don't mind the video quality. My webcam isn't that good and I don't want like to use my phone to stream and other stuff. The network isn't that good, so I don't want to like choke stuff up. So here we have our title, and I think we'll call this our Tic. We'll give you some nice name though. Tic Tac Toe. Let's put Deluxe. Like you all remember the Zuma Deluxe in those days, like. So we'll put a bar, and I think mentioning my startup here will be a good idea. And yep, here we go. Now let's define our bot. We have our bot. Oosh, my bad. Our bot to be equals to our bot should be equals to something like this. We have none for in range. This is like, I don't know, like I have to take time and like do a video on Python basics, so like you all don't get confused on what I'm actually doing here, but we will get to that sometime. So like I think I would have started with a video on tutorials, like, but well, from here we don't really much. Oops, I think there is no space between this and this, so let us correct this. Oh, it's okay. The space is okay. And let's define our buttons, like buttons you use to like navigate and other stuff. So define our buttons. We have none for in range. I think it's going to be the same thing. So yeah, something like that. we'll have them in the same range, and in the same range. Good. I think from here now, we're setting up our themes. You understand? Like, able to switch themes and other stuff. So we're going to define our themes. Remember, the first we defined up, right, was basically just theme. So I was saying we first defined themes normally up. So here now we're defining themes, like where you can switch between the various themes from dark mode to blah, stuff like that. You understand. So defining our dark mode first. Oops, my bad. This charger, like, I don't get why this thing be. I'm actually having a problem with my charger here, and it's like basically refusing to charge my phone. Just sort this out real quick. Right. So here, define our dark mode first. Then we have our. So for our dark mode, we have the background. We define the background as BJ, and I think using hex is somehow faster and more efficient. So we have 1E. You have to try like checking what the 1E color are. So, and you can leave it in your the show to read it, my bad. So here we have the foreground. We define our foreground as FG, and we have the color to be white. So that's a white foreground and a dark background. And we have our button. Our buttons are gonna have the THC. That's somehow gray, like between white and black, but not white, not black. So I don't know if you understand. It's white, it's not white, it's not black. It's between both colors. And here, let's define our light mode. I think it should be the reverse you get. Our white mode is the reverse of our dark mode. So we have DG, we'll set it to white. We'll have FG, oops, mistake here. We'll have set it to white. Literally put white with Y, and it was like white. And we have FG. We'll set it to, oops, forgot the comma here. And forgetting a comma, like sometimes you might not even notice, but when like you try executing your code and you're like, man, where this bug from? What is just like literally a comma you forgot to, not to say the word omit, but you forgot to. So we use the same 1E for our foreground. And our button, I think our button should be rather white, right? Yeah, our button should be rather white, but let's see what this hexadecimal gives us. We have E0, E0. I don't even know which color is that. Is still white. And so I'll set up our two themes now. So in the theme selection, I'll be able to choose between the white and the dark mode and other stuff. So now let's walk down to, we're just defining them. Now let's walk down to the function where user has to define, to choose and apply the themes. So we're going to define the function here as apply. Oops, yes, it should be apply theme. apply theme, and here, like, that's the simple function declaration syntax in Python we get. So it's not like somehow too complicated, no. So we have themes, and in themes we have theme. So that's calling theme in themes, you get. So here we have window. So you're noticing I'm not using semicolons at the end of my statements, and that's because in Python it is not necessary to use semicolons. So say you notice we're not using we are not using semicolons. Yes, because Python really don't need you to use semicolon. So here we're going to configure the functions where users have to choose their backgrounds and other stuff. And here it is very, how do I say, indentation here is really a problem, because like missing the indentation here is like missing the semicolon, you understand? So here is more on indentation and not like on semicolon stuff. So here we're going to define score label. The score label, right? Where like you should be watching the video, you should obviously know what the score label is all about. So score label.config, I think this should be the most difficult function here, or it should be the longest function we have to deal with. Well, there are other like complicated functions we have to deal with, but for now, like before you get to where we're getting to, for your head to be like something up. So what we're actually doing here is setting up, oh, my bad, yes. We're actually setting up this for users to be able to enjoy their game, something like that. So we have our foreground here to be equals to something like this. So what this T does actually, this T we defined here, right, is responsible for letting you switch between the, how would I say, letting you switch between the stuff. Wait, we'll get to that mode. Here we have our button that config, and you notice all this red, this, it's because we've not like if you check the error here, they will be saying undefined name, we've not defined them yet. So that's the reason why we're getting these red errors, but we're going to correct that soon. So let's just proceed like that for now, and then when we get there, we're gonna understand what I'm talking about. So we have here, see, it should be button now. Yeah, I think we have the button. The foreground here. So what we're literally doing, right, is like designing the interface, you get. So here we have the score label, you see here is the background and the foreground. Here is how the mode button, you have the button, and the foreground now should be the color of the foreground based on what the user choose as theme for them, you get. So it's not like something really complicated we're doing right here now. So here we have it, and you have the reset. Yes, our reset button configuration. Reset button dot config. And yeah, don't mind. I'm used to using an AZERTY keyboard, so now I'm on a QWERTY keyboard, and it's kind of a little bit confusing, and but with time I'm gonna adapt, so it's not like something you should worry about. So you have the FG and all the LG functions go the same, you get. So yes, all the LG go the same. Now here comes our for row in button. So for button, I forgot button is BTN, it's not. For button in row, and here now we have if button. As we were saying, you have if button text. This is not equals to, right? This is not like the natural equals to, like this is the same as, you understand? Same as. So it's not the natural equals to you're used to in math and other stuff. So this same as. What? That was some tautology, but yeah, you get the point like that. It's same as. So we have this config. Man, my head is itching. Like I did it like some days ago and I have to redo my hair. So it's like seriously itching and I need to go to the barber and other stuff. Man, but the nigga broke. You get. So let's just focus on making this video for you guys so you can enjoy and learn something new. Today might be like, I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, maybe it's a year after I publish it or 5 years after I publish it. But man, you gotta be consistent, bro. Gotta be consistent and you gotta learn some skills, you get. So let me just save at this stage so like nothing happens and I lost my stuff. So we're done with setting up the theme and other stuff. So I think now we should be getting to setting the how will I call it, the score label. So let's get back here. So remember we got the errors there because we like called the variables without defining them, you get. So now we're actually going to define them one by one, so you see how the errors are going to disappear. So starting with the score label, so defining the score label, and you see pop, it disappeared on the score label. So like we caught it before defining it, so that's why we could have the error. But I needed to do it like that, so you like breaking down the code like step by step, so you see like building anything at its own time, you see. So this will be TK. Remember, I'm used to assertive, so I'll be doing these mistakes of keys like frequently because like haven't used QWERTY in a while and I just got this laptop some months ago and I really not adapted to it. Over years of using assertive, you get, so like you can't change to some mode, something you've been used to doing in years. So for the fonts now, there's this new font by oh man, how do they call this name? Is it Jenny Motion? I forgot their name again. Like the people responsible that built the NetBeans and other stuff. Like they have these new fonts. I forgot the name of the fonts. Like I was about to use it, then the thing went off my head, and I don't want like to waste time going to Google. You know, we don't have much time. I don't really have much recording hours, so we'll just leave it at that. Scrollable.grid. So we'll just get to do with our local Arial. We've been using Arial for like I've been using Arial for the past. I've been a developer for I think should be about 4 or 5 years. And I'm still young though, so I've been a developer within getting my 20s, you get. So, well, back then I wasn't that good, so like, column, so this is our column and row, you get. So we have our column span. Those who are familiar with CSS and HTML should like easily get this part of column spanning, padding. This like padding. Padding is not the same as padding in CSS. In how do I say in CSS? So beware. Don't see padding and think it is similar. You get, it is not similar to it. Now we're working on the score labels first. So we'll finish with it before getting to the mode button and reset buttons later. So the code should be like somehow longer and lower. So we're going to define the function. Not like define, we're going to set up the function to update the score on the board, you get. So the function to update the scoreboard, this is it. So we're going to call our score label back configuration. So we're going to configure it like this. I would like to indent it so it looks better. So we're going to remember the text we used above. So the text here is going to be F. It's going to be F. We have our curly braces player X. Remember, player X is the player, and then we have player O, which is the AI. So we have our player X, and we have here score. No scores. Write it scores. No scores here. X. This part is getting somehow twisted. Just we'll do a different video on like explaining each part of what each thing does here, so you don't like try understanding indeed what we're actually doing, but just follow along and I'll advise coding along so like you don't miss any step and other stuff. So you can save, you can watch and you practice, and you can try doing your own personalized. You get like not exactly the same game I'm doing, but you can just follow it as a hint and try and do yours something similar and other stuff. So I'm going to draw. And my eyes can be on the screen constantly because like I remember doing I'm using a QWERTY keyboard and another used QWERTY, so that's how we're gonna do it. Scores. I'm going to go draw, but I don't know why I'll be getting all these errors. Let's just, should it be the mistake? Oh yes, here. I did the mistake here. And where again? Did the mistake here. This. Oh, this should be an indent error. It's not like an error. That was an indentation error. So let's save at this, then we'll proceed with defining the toggle function. So this is why user toggles between that white mode. We have our function here. We have global theme. What this does is set the theme. Like remember Up here we had theme. We set it to dark, so it does like the global theme should be dark. So that's simply what this does. And then now we have theme equals to light. Remember we defined light already. And if theme I remember telling you this is not equals to, but this is same as. So else that. So we understand this conditional apply thing. So this is all about this function. Oops. Now we're going to set the button to toggle between the white and the dark mode. So I have the mode button. Remember we declared it before defining it, so it's now you're defining it. So like you see our error messages will reduce, and we're left with defining the reset button. So let's work on this first. So we have TK, which is Tkinter button. Window, comma, text. Text. Now for our text we need an emoji to use there. So we're going to get the moon and sun emoji. I think it's moon and sun, right? Emoji. Yeah. I think it's the moon and sun emoji. This one. This is the emoji we're looking for. So we will copy it. Don't have time to go and be like searching up there. So we use it here, and we have toggle theme message here. And here we have command, because remember we have our toggle theme function already, so we'll just call it here. And next we'll have dot grid. Oh, hold on, like grid. Grid row. So I have 4 rows, comma, columns 0, column span. What am I doing? Column 0, comma, column span 3. Then we'll do the padding. This is the y-axis actually. I forgot to mention it. 5. So we have part x and part y. So this should be the y-axis, then we got the x-axis. So now we're done with the toggle button. Now let's move to checking winner animation. So we'll define the check win. Check win like this, and we have win to be equals to, let's open. So this win is actually an array, and it is I think three by let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6, should be a 3 by 8 array. So I'm calling the first column with the first row. I don't know. Defining the first elements We have 0, oops, 0, 0. We have 0, 1. And we have 0, 2. That's for the first line. And we have second. We have 1, 0. We have 1, 1. Getting here. We have 2, 0. So these are all the possible winning combinations. So here we have 2, 1. Yeah. Here we have 2, 2. And here now we will have 0, 0. 1, 0. 2, 0. 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. We have 0, 1. Two, 1. And then we will have oops, 0, 2. 1, 2. Then we will have 0, 0. 0, 0. And finally, we will have 0, 2. My bad. 0, 2. 1, 1. 2, 0. So now I'm going to set up the conditional and the loop. So setting up the loop for inline, for line in win. Remember, wins is what? Because so this is declaring a variable in a conditional statement. So this is like, how can I say? It is not a global, but it's like this. So This is not equals to, so not equals to symbol equals to symbols for symbol